I saw something from a parental influencer a few weeks ago who spoke to the importance of aligning values in two separate homes. And while I completely understand where this man is coming from, because he was talking about having unity and consistency between homes and how healing that can be for children who have separate homes. I disagree with the advice that he gave as a blanket rule, right? I don't believe in absolutes for anything. What I do believe in is you. What I celebrate and encourage is you being 100% authentic to your values. And I think that is one of the greatest gifts that we can give our children. I have some personal experience in this field, being that my ex-husband and I have incredibly different value systems, parent in very different ways. Not every marriage ends in a way that people separate completely. Some people co-parent and meet regularly. We're all on our own path. There's no right or wrong or good or bad here. And I also feel that swooping generalized statements without really understanding the ins and outs can be really harmful, especially when someone's in authority. I share things here and I don't proclaim to have the truth or the answer. And just always, but when we look in this context of being a guide, a parent, a role model, absolutely, ideally, wouldn't it be amazing if even in divorce, we could find some kind of alignment in value systems and consistency. I will tell you this, my children are deeply loved in both of their family homes. Deeply loved. There isn't necessarily agreement about parenting styles and philosophies and such things like this. And so my children know in one home, these are the rules, expectations, collaborations, and in another home, it's different. Could be differences. I don't know how specific I want to get into my own family actually in this format. I share more in private spaces, but on YouTube I think I'll keep it contained. So let me recalibrate and drive the point home, so to speak, that unity within a family, it doesn't require agreement in my experience, it just requires that intention. Unity. I want unity in my family. Doesn't mean we're all gathered together. We don't share space. In my circumstance. But there's no judgment. There's no ill will or bad feelings. It's, I do things my way. You do things your way. And in moments where maybe there is a clash, it's knowing that the minute I'm feeling defensive, I'm not unified. Me. I'm not connected to myself when I get defensive, when I feel activated in my nervous system. That is not a time for me to continue a conversation, make a plan, or take any action. The number one responsibility for me in that moment is my own nervous system. That is it. And when you can do that, when you can remember, I want unity and I'm feeling conflict. I'm feeling conflict. No blame, no shame, no judgment, right? Me. I'm going to step away. I'm going to remember who I am. I'm going to look at this armor that I've started to put up and allow it to dissolve. Because the most important thing to me for my children is that they know that they have a loving family unit, even though physically separate. Energetically, there's togetherness. When you do that, it's like magic. Honestly. The other person may apologize, or the conversation shifts, or the answer to whatever the conflicting point was just drops in. When you're not slagging the person off, gossiping, complaining, blaming, or shaming. And frankly, these are all things that I used to do because I didn't feel certain in who I was, because I didn't feel justness within the situation. Fairness is very important to me, and it didn't feel fair in certain circumstances. And that was all coming from my insecurity. And every action that I took, explaining myself or gathering the troops of agreement around me, it just created more and more separation, more and more tension. And I learned, and this is what I teach now, because life always gives us exactly what we need in every given moment, including the conflicting parts, including the painful moments. So the unity, again, it doesn't require agreement. It just requires this solid sense of steadiness within yourself. knowing who you are, loving who you are, knowing your worth, knowing your value, having that intention of togetherness and choosing what you want to look at. And what I mean by that is every single one of us, there's not a single human being in the planet that has a caveat to this. Every single one of us has traits that are beautiful and positive and strong, and traits that are reactive, not so pretty, the insecurities, the resentments, the fears, the moments of weakness. Every single one of us has that. No caveats. There is light in every single person. And certain people in our life may have caused us a lot of pain. We don't need to be best friends with them. We don't need to agree with them. And energetically, for you, for your family, for your kids, holding on to that pain, holding on to that resentment, holding on to that complete separation and the walls, you answer that yourself. How does it feel in your own system? So we get to look and focus on the beautiful qualities, not to bypass bad behavior, not to accept or tolerate what is not within our own values or standards for ourselves. Because when you're doing that, focusing on the good, speaking to that, not speaking to the negative traits, if you like, when you're choosing that, any of those moments where the not as pretty side comes out, or the just plain ugly side comes out in another person, you just don't engage. Again, you come into unity with yourself. You say, oh my word, I'm activated right now. I'm not okay with that right now. We do not spiritually bypass any of the feelings or the fears or the anger that may be coming forward. You give yourself permission to feel that, and then remember your intention. Remember who you want to be. Remember, we all have all traits within us. You go first by being the loving, kind person that you are. Remember that in the other person, and it's not even that actions or words need to be spoken, because everything is energy, right? And what that does within you, the freedom it will create, the energy you'll stop spending, leaking over things that you're not enjoying the first time around, and recreating that experience through your language and what you're speaking over and over again. This person did this thing. Can you believe it? Because you're gathering the troops for rightness. And there's fragmentation and there's separation. And it's draining you. And we get to choose different. And the more we choose different, the quicker you're going to come out of that loop. Maybe you'll be able to stop just like that. For me, it took some time. Even when I knew these principles. even when I knew how it felt, and really acknowledge that it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to speak badly of another person, no matter what they're doing. Once, with the intention of processing, absolutely. But over and over and over again, it feels this icky way in your system. You can literally, when you're aware of it, you can literally feel how it drains you. And they're not doing that, it's you recreating the experience. So choose yourself. Choose the energy that you want to be focused on and inviting in. And this is us then modeling authenticity and permission to be authentic, right? It's modeling there's more than one way to do something. There's more than one way to be. There is no one right way. We know what is right for us as individuals. We're going to do our best by our children. And big one for me was, I don't have the absolute right way. I don't. And my kids are going to learn who they are and naturally going to unfold the brilliance in them. Nothing I need to do for that, right? And they're only going to gain from their experience. They're going to expand and they're going to grow. And when I can trust that and not try and control someone else, namely their father, into doing things my way. I've read this paper and you should do that. And this is things that I used to do, and I used to feel so disappointed when he wouldn't take on board what I was saying, because I had the right way. We are more unified now. My children's confidence grows and grows and grows. Their sense of stability grows and grows and grows. The more individual we are as households, because we both do it unapologetically, in the sense of, this is me. And I think that's beautiful. So you don't necessarily have to align the values, because we can't control that. If we don't have the same value systems, we don't have the same value systems trying to enroll someone into your value systems when you've already gone through a separation. There might already be tension there. I don't see the value in that. And there's a risk that because someone's not agreeing with yours and you've heard somewhere that the values need to be the same, that you'll abandon yourself. Don't do that. That's not serving them. Stay true to who you are. That's it. That's the best parenting advice, if you like, that anyone could ever give. Stay true to yourself, value yourself, trust yourself. And the more you do that through osmosis, that's what they're going to pick up on. And that's just true. From the woman who has no truth. Thank you so much for being with me in this transmission. I am sending you so much love, always welcome comments and questions, and I'll see you next week.